Dominica welcomes a new ambassador from Israel. A certification program is now open for the construction industry, and a 100-day countdown to International Day of Peace has begun. Thank you for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm Jarna Hector.
And I'm Colette Ambo. Stay with us for details after this.
The black cicatricus fungus can survive on banana and plantain leaves even after they have been cut from the tree. Farmers and hucksters are encouraged to use alternate cushioning material when moving produce from farm to the market. Do not use banana and plantain leaves as cushioning. It is against the law to move banana and plantain trash from the field. Obey the law and stop the spread of black cicatricus today.
Thank you for staying with us. His Excellency Bahij Mansour is Israel's new ambassador to Dominica. The ambassador presented his credentials to Dominica's head of state, His Excellency Charles Savre, in a ceremony at the State House on Monday.
I am very enjoyed to be here with you, and we hope that the relationship between the Dominica and the State of Israel will be in the future better, and we can deepen the cooperation between the two countries, and we can share our cooperation, especially in agriculture and communication and solar energy. I am here to try to enforce this relationship, and I hope that in the coming years our relationship will be very good. This year I hope that the CARICOM organization will come to Israel, because they're going to be in Turkey next month, and I hope that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of CARICOM will come to Israel and to see Israel, and that's time we can increase our relationship and create a new platform.
President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savre, assured the new ambassador that Dominica values the bonds of friendship which spans several years. The island's head of state described Israel as a beacon to countries in the region and the world.
Israel has been able to make the desert bloom and develop cutting-edge technology, which through bilateral cooperation it is seeking to share with the rest of the developing world, particularly in the areas of agriculture, food security, poverty alleviation, agribusiness, health, education, sustainable development, and e-government.
Members of the Roman Catholic Church in the northern communities of Cottage, Tukari, and Savonpai gathered at the Tukari Catholic Church on Sunday to celebrate the feast of St. Anthony. The service was attended by Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit and his wife, Parliamentary Representative Honorable Reginald Austrie, Speaker of the House of Assembly Honorable Alex Boyd Knight, members of the Cabinet, and scores of worshippers. In his address following the service, Prime Minister Skerrit spoke of the role of fathers.
We have to continue to take our responsibilities as fathers. We cannot leave it to the mothers alone, and of course in some cases to the government alone, to care for our children. Our fundamental responsibility as fathers is to provide every form of care to our children, emotional, spiritual, and also material support. So it's important for those of us who are not keeping to those principles. It is not too late. We have to recommit ourselves to being wonderful fathers in Dominica and of course the world.
Friday began the 100-day countdown to the 30th anniversary of the International Day of Peace, which is commemorated on September 20th every year. International Day of Peace this year focuses on the right of peoples to peace. This is the day when the United Nations calls on communities, nations, and individuals to renounce conflict and promote harmony. In his address at the start of the countdown, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon stated, quote, "The theme for the day this year acknowledges the 30th anniversary of the General Assembly Declaration on the Right of Peoples to Peace, with its central message that humanity's sustainable progress and the realization of fundamental rights and freedoms depend on peace and security." End of quote. He said further that this understanding is central to an upfront approach which calls on the international community to act earlier and more concertedly in the face of human rights violations, which are often the precursors of worse to come. Over the coming 100 days, he said, we need to unite as a human family to deliver the right to peace. Now at the start of the countdown, every peace-loving person is urged to engage with their friends and neighbors to demand the rights of peoples to peace. International Day of Peace was established in 1981, and the first Peace Day was observed in September 1982.
The Ministry of Agriculture says the elimination of infested fields plays a key role in curbing the spread of black sigatoka spores. At a press conference earlier this month, Head of Plant Protection and Quarantine Services, Ryan Anselm, revealed that the Ministry of Agriculture is legally protected by the Plant Protection and Quarantine Act of 1986 to eliminate these infested fields.
Well, under the Plant Protection and Quarantine Act of 1986, Section 15, I think, it makes provision and gives us the mandate. Once the pest has been deemed notified and is of economic importance, the Ministry of Agriculture, through the Minister of Agriculture, can go in, notify the farmer. We have to notify the farmer that his property or his nursery or his plantation is infested and the disease has been notified, and give him some time. I think the Act speaks of the appropriate time for him to do the necessary sanitation or phytosanitary measure to arrest the disease. Once that is not done, the ministry has the mandate to go in to protect the state.
Anselm also noted that although there has been some resistance in the elimination of these fields, most nationals have been cooperative.
In the past, we had about 95% compliance. In everything you do, you'll always find people. There are people that will be giving you some resistance and reluctant, because you're talking about some people is their livelihood. And there are cases where the field is abandoned, but they still get some little production from it. They feed their animals, they can go to the market, but then you have to take the necessary, do the necessary phytosanitary action on your field, like sanitation, de-leaf, because if you do not do that, it's really a source of inoculation for the disease.
The head of Plant Protection and Quarantine Services further emphasized the necessity of eradicating these fields.
We have to do this exercise. It's a very important exercise. As we always said, it's a little late, but with the support from the National Employment Program, we're going to undertake that very important action.
Anselm stated that the relevant farmers have been notified in writing regarding their fields.
Farmers have been notified since 2012, and what we are doing, we are notifying them by giving them a letter. We've revised the letter, and since we have individuals outside the plant protection, what we've done, we've given them the power to do it on behalf of the ministry.
In other news, the dreaded chikungunya virus is believed to have long-term health effects on its victims. This is according to Dr. Candia Jacob, District Medical Officer for the North. Dr. Jacob was speaking at a panel discussion in Cottage last week.
Chikungunya has the tendency or the ability to continue for years. So after about the first 10 days of the disease, presenting with the headache and the fever and everything, people may begin to feel better. The old sick feeling goes away, the fever's gone, they're not vomiting anymore, the rash is gone, they're not itching anymore. Oh, one of the things I don't think any of us mentioned is that you get the glands, what we call glands, a lot in the neck area and in the groin between the legs there, and they're very painful for most people we've seen so far. Those things may go away after about 10 days, and you feel nice, you feel fine. And a few of us here have had it, so we can laugh about it. But out of nowhere, out of the blue, suddenly you just feel sick again. The symptoms come back again. Maybe not the fever and the rash, but the joint pains, they last. People develop arthritis. You know how your grandparents talk about foidy in the shoulder, in the waist. Now these days we don't even know whether it's foidy or chikungunya.
Dr. Jacob says chikungunya could have extreme effects on pregnant women, including spontaneous abortions, brain infections in the unborn child, and transmission to the baby during birth. In geriatric patients, there is a high risk of fatality. As a result of those long-lasting effects, chronic swelling and pain, Dominica's healthcare system is also being heavily impacted.
You've been hearing a lot about chronic illness in reference to diabetes and high blood pressure, asthma, certain heart diseases, and these things. Chikungunya becomes something like that for 2-3 years, and in the books, they'll tell you even 5 years after the time that the people had the fever and the rash and so on, even 5 years after that, people continue with serious joint pains and swelling, and that reduces their productivity, you know. People may continue feeling depressed. All of a sudden, you're depressed again. It comes in waves. You may be fine 1 minute, tomorrow you're depressed and your hands are hurting. You feel weakness, tiredness, fatigue, and you just can't go on.
The doctor sought to answer one of the more common questions asked by Dominicans.
Everybody, they describe what they feel to you, and the next question is, doctor, you think that's a mosquito for true? You really think it's a mosquito that carrying that? A mosquito cannot do that. So everybody asks the same question. But I like to say it's not the mosquito. The mosquito is just like a liat. It's the people in the plane. So it's not the mosquito giving you the sickness. It's really the virus that the mosquito is carrying. Now we know a lot about viruses because you get the cold, it's a virus giving you the cold. But somebody gets HIV and AIDS. That is also a virus. So if you've accepted that HIV, AIDS, which may be a deadly disease if it's not treated, it can cause your death very soon if it's not treated. And these days we have a lot of treatment and we've seen people living longer and healthier. If you can believe HIV is as deadly as it is, why is it so hard to believe that a virus carried by a mosquito can make you that sick and make so many people sick?
In other news, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit has congratulated newly elected Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, and his Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party on the resounding victory in the just concluded general elections. The ABLP won 14 of the 17 seats in the Antigua Parliament. Prime Minister is confident that Prime Minister Brown will do right in the interest of Antigua and the wider region. The Dominica leader looks forward to working with Prime Minister Brown. He said, quote, "We will continue to work together. I worked very well with him while he was in opposition, and I have no doubt that I will work well with him when he is in government." End of quote.
In more news, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, has given residents of Cottage and Tukari his commitment that financial resources will be made available for the rehabilitation of their roads. The Prime Minister gave the commitment while addressing morning mass at the Tukari Roman Catholic Church as part of the village feast.
This week I shall make the monies available. There's 1.5 from Rosie's home down to Purple Turtle that will be made available to the ministry, and I think an additional $1.7 million to complete the Mona Louis to Capuchin sections and so forth. So those monies will be made available to the Ministry of Works, and we will utilize another contractor who will do that project for us in a more diligent manner.
The Dominica Spa Health and Wellness Association, in collaboration with the Dominica Coalition of Service Industries, DCSI, will give 10 individuals the opportunity to earn internationally recognized certification in the area of wellness. According to course coordinator and president of the Dominica Spa Health Wellness Association, Martha Cuffey, the association is hosting its second International Therapy Examination Council ITEC Holistic Massage course. To avoid last year's issue of costly fees for participants, this year's program is being funded through the CART Fund Health and Wellness Project.
At this time it was part of a project of the CART Fund Health and Wellness Project, which has decided to give a substantial scholarship to the course. So this year it's a lot cheaper, so it's much more accessible, because we found that last year some people weren't able to afford the course, so dropped out. So we were trying to find ways in which we could make it more accessible for people so that we would really get the maximum number of people on the course and for it to kind of, to be available to as many Dominicans as possible.
Cuffey indicated that ITEC is an internationally recognized certification body for massage therapists, which has been awarding high-quality and respected industry qualifications since 1947. Dominica is one of 3 islands where the 6-month course will be held. According to the course coordinator, the holistic massage classes will be divided into 2 components.
There are different components to the course. There's anatomy and physiology, there's the hands-on massage work, learning different techniques. There's an online component as well where you're learning about business practices, where you're learning about how to take care of the client, how to perform a consultation with the client. So there's these different modules which are being held both in-person training and online, and as well as that the students have to keep a very extensive manual of client case studies, where they work with clients over time, and then they can see themselves develop and progress. And that's part of what they have to submit as part of their final examination, which will take place on island, now scheduled for January.
The face-to-face training component of the course will run from June 18th to June 21st. Cuffey said the association hopes to create a new wave of job opportunities by building up a caliber of top-class wellness professionals.
For people who've been on the ground in the wellness industry for years here, we've been wanting to show people that you can have viable careers on island. You do not have to go abroad either to train nor to have a career that can be creative, that can suit your times, that enables you to have children and work. So it ticks many boxes in what we're trying to show is possible in Dominica and break this perception that you have to leave the island in order to earn a decent living and to be proud of what you do, and also to contribute to what I call the wellness economy of Dominica. We need more people on hand. I call them wellness warriors, because I believe that Dominica has the most to offer in the region and far beyond in terms of wellness. We are a living spa, but we need trained people to do that. And with this qualification, people also have the option of working anywhere else in the world because it's an internationally recognized qualification.
Registration is now closed, but for further information, interested individuals are encouraged to contact the DCSI office at 266-4092.
Finally, this news time, to enhance the marketability of nationals within the construction industry, the Dominica Coalition of Service Industries and the Builders and Contractors Association of Dominica have launched a Caribbean Vocational Qualification Skills Assessment and Recognition Certification Program. In an exclusive interview with GIS News on Monday, Executive Director of the DCSI, Lester Revere, revealed that the organization is responsible for developing the standards of the non-tourist service sector. One of the key areas of focus is the certification of persons involved in the construction industry.
Coalition of Service Industries is an agency responsible for the development of the non-tourist service sector in Dominica, especially focused on professional development and export development, certification and standards for the non-tourist service sector in Dominica. So one of the key initiatives that we're involved in right now is a certification program for the construction industry, covering a number of areas in this construction industry.
Rivera went on to elaborate on the various construction fields in which certification will be made available.
So one of the key initiatives that we're involved in right now is a certification program for the construction industry, covering a number of areas in this construction industry. The areas are carpentry, masonry, concrete and steel fixing, heavy equipment operations and heavy equipment maintenance, electricals, general construction, plumbing and pipe fitting. So these are the areas that are being covered under this CARICOM Vocational Qualifications Program, which is a prior learning assessment and recognition program. So it's one targeted at individuals who are already working, who have a number of years of experience in the industry, and this is the specific program that we're involved in.
The executive director noted that it's necessary for individuals within the industry to be certified in order to be better suited for marketability within the region and internationally.
It's critical because a lot of, or if not most of the workers, the operators in this industry, although they may have been working for a number of years, have a lot of years of experience, they are uncertified. And they are in a situation where they cannot they don't have that kind of marketability or portability of skills. So there may be opportunities in other territories to work, and they may not be able to take advantage of these opportunities. But even more than that, they are faced with challenges if individuals come into Dominica who are certified. They would have a better opportunity than those within the industry in Dominica for employment.
This qualification will also play a key role in developing individuals' strengths.
This type of qualification will help them to hone their skills, help them to identify their weaknesses and their strengths as well. And based on the strengths, they would, when this is assessed, they could be in a position to receive a certificate of qualification.
He also encouraged all persons within the industry to come out and get certified. Interested persons should contact the Dominica Coalition of Service Industries at 440-8740 or visit their offices at Hanover Street in Roseau. And before the end of the news, an announcement from the Prime Minister's office. The following provision in the Meritorious Service Honours Regulations, Chapter 1909 of the Laws of Dominica is drawn to the attention of the public. It says, quote, "The names of persons considered deserving of an honor for meritorious service to the state of Dominica shall be submitted to the Secretary no later than June 30th of any year," end of quote. In that regard, recommendations should be forwarded under confidential cover to the Secretary of the Cabinet at the Office of the Prime Minister, located at the Financial Center, Kennedy Avenue, Roseau. An email could also be sent to opm@dominica.gov.dm. Stay tuned for your tip of the day next.
What's for dinner?
I know, but you want Cheryl.
Who? Cheryl? Oh, babes, that's nothing.
Nothing? Within there, but that is nothing?
Hon,
come on. Whatever.
You know you're my number one.
And she's number what, 10? Plenty married women get engaged from the husband these days. I don't want to be one of them. From now on, I'm looking out for me.
But babes, I only talk to the woman.
Until I'm certain this will take care of both of us, if you're lucky.
Your family depends on you. Don't take home aids.
In-studio discussions, Insight, Creole News, Road to the Throne, Calypso, Creole Festival, Carnival, and lots more local programming. See it all on the Government Information Service, your first for local news.
A day has been set aside by the United Nations for international recognition of desertification and drought. Desertification is a type of land degradation in which a relatively dry land region becomes increasingly dry and barren, typically losing its bodies of water as well as vegetation and wildlife.
Identified as June 17th, the objective is to increase the attention given to land and soil within climate change adaptation and mobilize support for sustainable land management. Our role in climate change resilience is also one of adaptation. Let's play our part.
And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and your comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm.
Look us up on facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Colette Ambo.
And I'm Jarna Hector. Thank you for watching.